Good evening, everyone. It's the West Ham Irons channel. It's a new show, Match Rewind, a little bit of player analysis, and it's more about we obviously do a show which is fairly straight after the game, where perhaps you haven't digested some of the information, and obviously things are raw in your mind, or you're a bit more kind of bit extra angry than normal. So just gives an extra day to think over things and. Yeah, before I bring Frankie in, obviously I'm in a really odd place mentally at the moment at West Ham United, and what's shocking me more than anything is that the way I feel, Frankie feels exactly the same, but all the other channels, they feel the opposite, right? And I want to discuss if there's something wrong with me and Frankie, or whether because I'm pretty straight in life. I can back myself up like Frankie. Whatever I feel, I'll tell you 10 reasons why I feel it, and away we go. But I'll tell you a bit more because I just wanted to watch something before I came on live half an hour, because I don't have time to watch other channels. But I thought I'd do it before this show because I am feeling odd. It is something weird what's going on, and I think, funny enough, I think Ryan felt the same last night, and a lot of people with our channel do. We are a one-off channel. We totally feel different to everyone else most of the time. And some of the people, I'm not going to mention any channel names or people that we all know within the West Ham community, really shocked by their comments last night. And soft came to mind, and one or two other words I'll come to a bit later on, mate. But Frankie, I hope you're well, and I believe you went to the game. Did you go to the game?
To be honest, mate, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
My dad went and left at half time, but I couldn't bring myself. I'll go in Thursday, which is a strange one, really, because last night probably had more about it and more importance than Thursday. But Thursday we're meeting up to all have a drink, mate. So I'm looking forward to that. So there's 14 of us all going to the cheap hospitality tickets. So yeah, we're gonna have a nice night out, and I'm just looking forward to meeting people, mate. To be honest,
I'm glad it's not 13, mate. You got one extra.
You know.
I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. It is just, for me, watching it. Oh, mate, I just got to say the way it is. I can't change the way I am, mate. It was probably again on par with one of the worst entertainment-wise good football games I've seen West Ham, mate. It was really dire. I think my eyes closed 55 minutes or cut 5 minutes. I was out of it, mate. And what I'm going to say about the West Ham fan base and channels is that you've got to be consistent with your views. So what I mean by that, and I did highlight that 2 programs ago, is I'm going to be okay in terms of my views about 2 players, particularly Johnson and Benrahma. I'm going to give them 6 games. I hope the manager gives them. And then we'll go into our comments about them. But what fans are doing, mate, a couple of weeks ago, they're slating 1 or 2. And then I didn't see anything really brilliant from anyone. And now there's channels saying, get off Benrahma's back. I'm like, just chill out. Just chill out. Watch it for 5-6 games. Let's hopefully we have the similar team. People in that type of position. So I want to see I want to see Johnson at right back for 5-6 games. I want to see Benrahma in that position 5-6 games, and then we'll begin to judge and see where we go with 1 or 2 players like that. But people are just, I think the fan base has gone a bit soft, mate. It's just like, and most of them, like they were like, oh yeah, it was great, you know. I mean, let me see some of the comments. Give Benrahma respect now. Skamaka's on a different level. I know he's a good player, but he didn't do anything yesterday, mate. He didn't
have his best game yesterday.
You know, why would you come out with comments like that? Another one, I know Emerson is class because he's won trophies. Fucking give me a break, mate. He's been a squad player at Chelsea, right, for best part of 4 or 5. What trophies? What did he score a goal? Was he a regular in the Champions League final? You got that going on. Then you've got, once we have a stable back 4, consists of Creswell, Zuma, Agard. Agard, listen, I ain't seen him yet. I have to see him, right? I have to see Agard. Why would you be happy with Creswell in a flat back 4 for us to be brilliant and mighty? It's just weird. And another stupid comment. Oh yeah, I've heard a couple of players are not are keeping their foot off the pedal because of the World Cup. What players did that played yesterday are going to play in the World Cup? Skamaka's not in the World Cup. Ben Rama's not in the World Cup. None of our back four are in the World Cup. I mean, apart from perhaps Kufal and our goalkeeper's not in the World Cup. I mean, they can't listen, say something, but back it up. And I'm like, the fan base have gone soft. They're content watching shit. And good luck to them. I'm not going to change on the channel. I thought it's a pile of shit last night. We won. You take it away. I think I'm confused, mate. Seriously.
Mate, I'm lost. This Ben Rama had a good game stuff. Mate, he had 8 shots. Only 1 was on target. He made 1 key pass in the whole 90 minutes. And okay, he put the penalty away very well at the end. So I'll give him that. But he did not have even an above average game. He had a very, very average game. And I, even when we was watching it, I was posting in the WhatsApp chat, just going, he don't help himself. He's shooting when he shouldn't be shooting. His crossing's abysmal. He done nothing last night. I don't know what people watched. And people even tweeted out the stats as if they made him look good. 8 shots, 1 on target. And they was making out that was a good stat. And I'm like, mate, I can't. Mate, I'm lost. I'm lost with the fan base, shining torches when all the lights went out, like they're at an Elton John concert. Just the whole thing about supporting West Ham at the moment is boring, mundane, dull. The support is dull and mundane and boring. The football's mundane, dull and boring. The whole thing about West Ham at the moment is absolutely dire. It is awful. And I didn't want to come on here last night. I couldn't come on after the game because I get fed up with coming on and just being a whinger and moaning and whatever else. Mate, my son, he loves football. He played football on Saturday in a tournament. He loves it. He cannot... Every single second of the day, all he wants to do is things related to football. Play it in the garden, play with football cards, set his figures up and have a match. All he wants to do is football.
Oh, have you got him the Panini sticker oven for the World Cup? Making sure you get him into that. I used to love that as a child.
And we do all of that, and he loves it, mate. He knows all the names. Last night, I was reading out the team list to West Ham, and I was like, this is how we line up today. And I went, number 1, and he goes, Fabianski. I go, number 2, he goes, Ben Johnson. He knows every squad number. He's only 4 years old, but he loves it. Mate, he used to sit and watch in awe of every single game. He sat there last night and 10, 15 minutes in, mate, he's gone. He's not interested. And it's not because he's 4 years old, mate. It's because it is so boring. He sat and watched the entire match tonight of Seville versus Copenhagen. Watched the whole match. And I sat and watched the match. And I sat and I enjoyed watching that match. And all right, it's Champions League football, but they ain't the 2 best sides in the world, mate. But the football they play is entertaining. There's something about it. There's a zip, there's a pace, there's a confidence, a swagger, something. Yeah. When we watch us, it is just sideways, backwards, slow, don't want to play a forward pass. We've got no pace in the team. We don't move the ball fast enough. That. And people will come on here and tell you, all these social media people and all that, they'll tell you, we have the worst luck in the world. This season, we've had a couple go against us, but we've had a lot go for us, mate. And for me, that first goal, any other time is just disallowed. He does move his hands towards the ball. For me, it should have been disallowed. The one at the end is really harsh, but they have been given recently. So I'm not saying like whatever, they were so hard done by, or whatever, but they weren't good goals. They weren't goals where we've created something out of nothing and done a couple of quick passes and scored a brilliant goal. Seville tonight scored a couple of absolutely fantastic goals, mate. And, we knocked them out of the Europa League last season. Well, I promise you, mate, I know they're only going to go into the Europa League now and they've not qualified through the group stage of the Champions League, but they are a proper footballing side and they play very entertaining football, and I would happily go along and watch that football. They are miles ahead of us, miles. I don't understand it. We are so accepting and we tolerate such mediocrity and such bang average, really poor old-fashioned football. And what I'm trying to explain to people at the moment, mate, and this is where people on social media get angry and it causes arguments. And there's been arguments last week between West Ham fans. I don't want to see West Ham fans arguing. We're a family. We're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be West Ham United. But what they don't get is these people who sit and watch it in your front room. Last night, you win 2-0. It probably don't look that bad. It probably isn't that bad watching it in your front room, in your comfortable chair, with your can of beer or whatever you want to do. That's fine. When you put in that effort to go over there last night, like I said to you, my dad goes over there. He has to get a bus down to North Greenwich. Then he's got to get the DLR, and you've got to try and get to that Poxy Stadium. And then you come out and it's queues and you can't get to the station and there's a stop-go things and all that. You're not walking through your door till 12:30 at night. You absolutely have a right. No one's saying that because my dad went last night, it makes him more of a fan than the people sitting on their armchairs, right? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you are more emotionally invested in the match. And when you come out and you've sat there and you've spent that money and you've traveled and you've made that commitment, when you watch that shower of crap that was in front of you last night, you have every right to feel more aggrieved and more angry and more frustrated and all of those. And that is what these people are not understanding. Go and watch the game. Make the effort, go the travel, spend the money, and I promise you, you will sit and come out of that football stadium and go, why did I just do that? Why am I paying to watch that rubbish? You will feel that way, I promise. You will feel that way because it was dire, absolute dire.
I think two of my kids went to the last Europa at home, and I didn't know they're going to be there. They said, Dad, we left after 70 minutes. So nothing's going on. And they got back to Strand early and cut the bars they went to. And I've got comments down yesterday, mate. Yeah, Ben Rama, apart from again, being honest, great penalty. Brilliant penalty.
Good penalty. Really solid penalty. And we needed it.
Really good. And hopefully that'll kind of be the one going forward. Apart from that, constantly mislaid crosses, passes from most of the team, slow build up, side to side, backwards, other stuff, giving it away constantly, unnecessarily. Final ball, awful. Creswell, 2 awful crosses, awful set pieces. Mate, it's like we've won 2-0, and I've come away from the game thinking, I don't know anything extra about the team. I didn't know. I don't know where we're going. I don't know what our tactics are. I don't know how we're trying to involve Skamaka in the attacks. I just don't know what we're meant to do. Are we playing it from the back and then we're giving it to someone in the middle who's going to instigate the attacks? Are we playing long ball? I don't know what we're doing, mate. Seriously. Johnson, okay, but he's got this thing, mate, where he passes it back a lot, Johnson. I don't know if it's confidence or
the whole team. It's not just
trying to make sure he doesn't lose it.
It's everyone.
Obviously, I could have a friend Fredericks was there, and he kind of came off. Dawson, Downs was kind of okay. Rice was okay. Skamaka just didn't get involved in anything. Souček had a couple of good chances. Kind of poor finishes, mate. And Zuma, that goal, mate, it's like a playground bundle at primary school where like all 10 of us used to get in there trying to score, and it's come off someone's back. I'm like, what kind of goal's that? And even then we didn't know it was going to be a goal. And then obviously don't forget, Bournemouth lost their goalkeeper, Solanke, who Souček gave a great assist to, nearly gave it away, and he ran away with it, and Kera kind of put him off. Kera, like you said, 50% okay, 50% a bit all over the place, mate. And it was just it's the comments from the fans that we know and the channels, and
mate, but look,
they're all happy, mate.
Let me make one thing very clear, right? My lot that I go football with are all proper old school West Ham. We were there, at Upton Park. We were there when we got relegated and went to every single game. We were there, at Chesterfield on a cold Tuesday night in the rain. We were there at Wrexham. We were there at Cardiff when you had a beer that was like a slush puppy because it was so cold. I was there, Nottingham Forest away on Boxing Day, freezing with a cup of Bovril trying to warm up. We've been everywhere with West Ham, everywhere. And they're all proper West Ham fans, mate. And all those people I talked to, whether it was my dad who left at half-time last night, whether it was Ginger Steve who phoned me up today and said how abysmal it was, the proper fans that I know, mate, all feel the same way right now. The only people who are happy with what's going on, and the only people who think Ben Rama had a good game last night, and the only people who think that it's good what they're watching at the moment, are the modern day new breed of West Ham fans who are fair weather, who go over there from time to time, who stroll around that ground and whatever, and watch it from their home and go on Twitter and post things on social media. You know, my lot don't post things on social media. They ain't got time for it. I do, because I'm a little bit younger than them. At the end of the day, you know, I'm not reading anything more into social media, mate, because they're clearly, I don't know what's wrong with them. But, you know, this new breed, the people who had their torches on last night in that stadium when all the lights went out, giving it all this, blah, mate, see that? Pony. Absolute muggy, ridiculous. Don't want it around me. Don't want it near me. Don't want to entertain it. And literally, this is my last season that I'll be going to West Ham United, because West Ham United is finished. It's gone. It's done. All the people turned their backs on it before me. They all go down to Plaistow Working Man's Club now. They've got no interest in going in that stadium anymore. It is the most awful experience that you could have. You know, my dad over there last night wanted to get a bottle of water at half time. £2.75 for a bottle of water. It's an absolute liberty. The board don't care about fans in any way, shape or form, and moved the Boxing Day game, or allowed it to be moved to 8 o'clock at night. They should have turned around to the Premier League and Sky and said, you know what? You want to make that match 8 o'clock on a Boxing Day? We won't turn up. So you can play that fixture if you want, but that ain't on for our fans. We won't play. So that's fine. If you want to do it, but we won't play in that fixture. It's a liberty, mate. We are so soft. Our football club has been watered down to a point it's unrecognisable. And if this is what West Ham United is now, are these fans who think Ben Rama had a good game last night, who think West Ham, this brand of football, is good enough, who think David Moyes is the Messiah and he's going to win us a European trophy, I am done. I want nothing to do with it no more, because, and it's not me flipping and, you know, turning my back on West Ham United, because West Ham United don't exist anymore, mate. It don't exist. This is not West Ham United. This is a very watered down, tourist driven, casual driven, proper pony football club now. And I'm embarrassed of it at times, mate. And I never, ever thought I'd be like that.
No, I had three season tickets 2 years ago. Then I went down to 2. I got none now. I'm not missing it. And like you said, I get a kick out of meeting people like you, and also going to the old retro and nights. You know, when you meet Julian Dix, McAvenny, all those people that I grew up. That's my life now. And I was ill 2-3 weeks ago with COVID. I couldn't go to see the mid-1970s team, Alvin Martin, Alan Kirbishley, Tony Carr. They've got Strikers Night coming up in Romford. Hopefully I'll be there. I'm going to catch up with, hopefully, I think Trevor Morley's coming down from Norway. So that's me, mate. That's me. That's my area now. For me, I'm not happy, mate. Not happy. Just I don't know where we're going. I don't know what we're trying to do,
mate. It's the thing I used to do with my, like when I was younger. You know, from the age of, well, he took me to my first game when I was 2. I was 2 years old. I went to my first West Ham game. I had a season ticket from about the age of 7. You know, it's the thing me and Dad did together. It's the thing that I used to. Still there? Yeah. It was the thing that, you know, I lived for West Ham. I would work on Monday to Friday, and on Friday I would leave work, and all I then wanted to do was get to West Ham on a Saturday. We have no Saturday matches anymore. They're always on a Sunday, which is awful. I know that's part of being in Europe of late and things like that, and I understand that's why you've got to sacrifice. You know, if you want to be in Europe, you've got to sacrifice Saturday football. That's fair enough. But then we got a Saturday game against Brentford at 3 o'clock. Even that's been moved, and that's got nothing to do with the European football. You know, football for me should be on a 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, and you should finish your week as a man. Your stresses of the week. You want to go football to have a release. You want to go and have a beer with your pals. You want to go in a good pub. You want to go over to football. You want to have a good old sing-song. And whatever else, mate, they've even gone as far as building a wall in between our fans and the away fans to completely kill any atmosphere in that stadium. See that wall? If that was Upton Park, we would have ripped it down and thrown it at them and said, what do you think you're doing? But instead, the modern day West Ham fan, let them build a wall, you know, don't hear nothing about it. Where's Hammers United? Where's all these people who used to stick up for us and whatever else? You know, it's so... I've just had, they've literally achieved what they wanted to achieve. They set out to totally reform West Ham United as a fan base, to get rid of the old breed, to bring over the tourists who spend their money in the club shops and will spend their money, you know, in the, you know, the kiosks for food and whatever else, and spend a fortune. And that's what they want. They don't want the hardcore West Ham over there. It is absolutely abysmal. And the whole experience of it is literally to push us old, loyal, staunch West Ham fans away. And God forbid we actually do go into decline and we do struggle to stay in the Premier League or whatever it may be. Because see all these tourists and fair weather fans that they're putting their faith in, because they spend more money than the average Joe and the loyal supporter who's been going for the last 30 years. All them fair weather fans will soon disappear. You soon won't have them over there no more. They soon won't go. They soon won't be buying tickets and soon won't be spending their money, because it won't be trendy to be a West Ham fan no more. And when they don't go, they're not making any money, and they want all of us lot to go back, mate, they've got no chance. We was there. I remember getting relegated twice, and we'd have 32,000 fans over Upton Park. Believe you me now, if we got relegated now, you wouldn't even get close to that number of fans over there anymore. We used to have the loyalist, most staunch West Ham fans who were there, rain or shine. We were there for the club, and we had some bad times, but I never felt like I do now. Even when we got relegated, keep the faith. Be West Ham, support them, get us back into the Premier League. That's how it was. And I'd go everywhere, coming out, losing 5-0 to Bolton, doing the conga up and down the aisles, cheering. You know, we went 1-0 down in a European semi-final and didn't sing a song for the rest of the game. That's how weak West Ham have become as a club. We're in a semi-final and couldn't even cheer the fans on for 90 minutes. It's embarrassing, mate. It's embarrassing what it's become. It's actually, no, that's a lie. It's not embarrassing. It's actually quite sad. It's actually sad what it is now. And, you know, people can dig me out and people can do whatever, and Josiah can have a go at me.
No, you're backing yourself up.
I just am expressing my feelings as a West Ham fan, that I've never, ever been more disillusioned. I've never been more uninterested in West Ham in all my life of supporting West Ham. And everyone told me, oh, last season, but it was the best season we ever had. It wasn't for me. It was a brilliant season. I enjoyed many of them moments. It was, you know, there were some massive games, and Leon, I will live on forever, mate. Leon away was one of the best away days I've ever had as a West Ham fan. That and Ipswich away were both incredible. But that's the point, mate. We still had an incredible day at Ipswich away. You don't need European football for glory as a West Ham fan. We've always had our moments. We've always had our days, and they're always special. Whether it be going to Old Trafford in the third round of the Cup and beating Man United, and that was an unbelievable day. 7,500 fans of West Ham at Old Trafford was unbelievable. We've had some brilliant days, and I used to meet the best people, and it's where all my friends have come from, going West Ham and from watching West Ham games and everything else. And I wouldn't have changed it for the world. And now I literally look at it and I think, you know, last game of the season, there was loads of kids in the bottom corner of where the dugout is. You couldn't have been closer to the dugout, right?
Yeah.
The players not only did not sign something. I can understand not signing something, because, you know, if you sign something for one person, you've got to sign it for everyone. But they didn't even wave to the kids. They didn't even say hello. They didn't even acknowledge that they were there. Our club has never been more removed from the fans than what it is now. And yes, everyone can say that's all of the Premier League. But believe me, there are some clubs who still have a real connection to the fans. And at the moment, we have never been more distant. And it's a real real shame all around. West Ham United are getting it all wrong right now, from an experience point of view, from building the wall, from, you know, making us all tolerate all the things we do in that stadium right now, from letting us have Boxing Day games changed to 8 o'clock at night. Just all round, mate, it is just so poor from the club. And it's mate, I don't want to feel this way. I love West Ham. It's my heart, mate. It's been my life for so long. I give everything to West Ham. It has been literally my life. And I've never been more disillusioned. I literally would rather take my boy to non-league football, where he has a bit of engagement and has a bit of interaction with the teams, with the players, and can get up close and really feel like he's part of something, mate. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know what to do, mate. Honestly, at the moment, I won't be renewing my season ticket next year unless something drastically changes. And all of those other things you can tolerate a little bit if what you're watching is a good and a good brand of football. You know, Man City has been watered down beyond belief, but they're watching unbelievable football. You'd accept that all day long. You know, Newcastle have been through a torrid time, but they're starting to play good football, you know? And Newcastle are playing brilliant football at the moment and getting results. You haven't got to be playing the way we do to get results, mate. There is another way.
Yeah, it's just a journey as well, Frankie. Obviously, the trains got nothing to do with the club. The trains have been awful this season. We're clashing with Westfield, shopping centre. The weeks leading up to Christmas, it's going to get worse. One of the games this season, Frankie, took me 45 minutes to get out the car park with the car. Because if I don't drive, I get stuck on the trains, mate. And when I did drive home, all the motors I got home 1:30 at night. All the motorways were closed. And yeah, you do want to see a little bit more for your money. And obviously money's tight for everyone more than ever, what's going on at the moment. And like you said, like John Lyle used to mention it. He goes, we want to entertain the fans. That's our job, our responsibility to make sure we entertain the fans. And it looks like you're right, it's become a business now. It's not entertainment anymore, you know. It's kind of our club, and it's our DNA. I don't follow any other club. I don't know what their fans think. I don't really care. But for West Ham, it's in our DNA. You want to see better football than what we're seeing at the moment. But worryingly, mate, the fans that are on the media at the moment, they're God, like you said, they're not really. They're kind of a bit different to the West Ham fans that we knew. If they're pleased with what's happening at the moment, like you said, shit, I'm supporting the wrong club. Am I lost a little bit? I don't know.
But it isn't everyone. That I can't remember who was on one of the other channels last night, but I think it was the guy from Claret and Booze, and he was asked the question. You know, do you feel like we're better at the moment? Have we turned the corner? And he said no. And I make him right. At least he had the minerals to turn around and say,
I think I don't because again I know everyone, but I don't have the time. But those boys are about my age, so they're about my. They've seen it when it was John Lyle. So those boys are experienced.
Yeah.
So those boys, but some of the younger folks who are good 10, 15 years younger than me, they've very surprised by their comments last night that they're content, they're happy, they can see it's going to get solid. It's oh my God! So
but the point is, mate, at the end of the day, this is everything that's with our football, right? We haven't got a problem defensively. You know, we can defend, and we're a pretty, you know, okay defensive unit. But we haven't got no pace. We have to move the ball quicker. Even last night, we get the ball, we're so slow to do anything with it. You've got to zip passes forward. You've got to get between the other team's lines. You've got to beat their, you know, banks of four, or however they're lining up against you. You've got to get in between them. You've got to get past them. You've got to play forward football. You cannot count how many times, you know, we just never, ever can play a forward pass. We get the ball, quick forward pass, catches them out, and that's what you got to do. Catch teams out of shape and so on, right? All we do, if we get the ball, it's like we have to start everything from Declan Rice. So we get the ball, whether it be on the left, on the right, or whatever. Right, turn backwards, give it to Declan Rice, because everything has to start from Declan Rice. Declan Rice gets the ball, looks left, looks right, looks left again, looks right. What do? Right, I'm now going to play a slow ball to the left. Then we knock it around the back four, just you know, knocking it about, whatever, thinking that's good possession. And by that time, the other team are so organised that we can't break them down. You cannot play like that, mate. When you get the ball, you've got to look up. You've got to be positive. This is what like Payet used to do for us. Why was Jesse Lingard so successful for us? And I know he's been terrible for Nottingham Forest. But the reason why he was so successful and the reason why we loved how he played was because when he got the ball, I want to go forward. I'm going to run it forward, or I'm going to play it forward, or I'm going to move a quick ball out wide. Get the ball forward. Attack teams quickly. Get on them. That's what we don't do. It is so lethargic, so sideways and backwards. And you just sit there and you just go, oh. And then by the time you start looking up and wanting to play forward, they're all organised and we can't break them down. It is just... Oh.
And I think the other thing is if you look at the stats, you look at the scores, it's not going to tell you the full story. So if I told someone, if an alien landed today and it said West Ham 1, Spurs 1, what a great result. No, it fucking wasn't. If you were there at the ground, we should have won. We were very negative. Southampton away, I don't agree we got good defence, because I think Southampton pierced that defence 15, 20 times in the game, and they were so shit they couldn't score anyway. So every game, it might look like a draw or win, but what doesn't tell you the true story is that we have mislaid numerous passes, numerous crosses, lost possession. They've had an equal go at us. Bournemouth, I think, were brilliant between the middle of the second half till they were 1-0, mate. I thought the game's in the balance. Again, some channels, some fans think we were never in danger. I don't agree with that. They were coming at us. They were coming at us. And thankfully, we put it to bed quite late on. It's just pulling my hair out, mate. And again, I don't know what we're trying to do. And the worst thing's going to happen now, mate, that whoever's loving Benrahma and one or two others, when Cornet or Paqueta comes back in, then I don't know.
That Paqueta thing's weird as well, mate, because if you watch the press conferences with David Moyes, he was really, really dismissive. He got asked a question. They turned around to him and said, what about Paqueta? And he said, oh, he got really shirty with the guy. And then he went, look, it's not normally an injury that footballers get. We just got to see how it goes. And he was really sharp and really quite annoyed at that situation. Then all of a sudden, we get communication it's going to be a long-term injury. Then on Sunday, we heard he was going to be ready and he was going to play Monday night. Then Monday night comes round and he's not around. Mate, something's gone on there that we're not privy to. I don't know what it is, but something about a whole situation is not quite right, and it stinks to me. And it's not a good sign. I'm telling you that now. It's not a good sign. And the way that Scamacca's playing with that attitude, do you know what he reminds me of, Scamacca, at the moment? And I know people are going to say this is the obvious comparison, right? But I remember Haller, when he first come to us, I went Watford away. Haller scored that overhead kick.
Oh, yeah.
Haller had a smile on his face and he was playing, good football, right? And he looked like a player. Right? And all of a sudden, about 6-7 weeks in, Haller looks like the biggest miserable whatever in the world. Well, I'm telling you now, Scamacca reminds me of Haller right now. He's getting frustrated. He don't see enough of the ball. We don't actually get the ball to him. He gets pissed off with a poor crossing. He gets annoyed when people can't find him and pick the pass out. He is becoming more and more frustrated game by game by game. And it's really not good, mate, because at the end of the day, we get to the point where it goes too far and then there's no way back. Scamacca is clearly on another level to most of the players in our squad. He looks like a proper player and he's clearly a better striker than Haller. But he is getting more and more wound up as the weeks go by, mate. And I'm worried because we've got Paqueta, who's vanished off the face of the earth, who cost us a fortune. We've got Scamacca, who's getting more and more annoyed and really has basically stopped wanting to do the things that he does well and play, because he has to drop deep, try and win headers all game, because that's the only way he gets near the ball. And yeah, we're going to end up with another record signings that peter out into nothing, and we're going to be in exactly the same place we've been with the other ones. It's a worry, mate, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know Moyes was like, it's not ideal to bring 8-9 faces in, but we kind of felt that we had to do it due to our situation. I thank the board. It's like civil war. So Scamacca's the most happiest, mate, when Cornet and Paqueta are playing with him. They seem to find him. Those three have got a chemistry together because they haven't got any baggage. And when they're out injured, then he's like Bowen, mate. What did Bowen do yesterday? I don't know.
Do you know what? Bowen's been found out a little bit, mate. Do you know what people are doing now? They put it on him. They're up his arse. Anytime the ball goes towards him, they get really tight to him, really close, and Bowen doesn't like it. People have worked out how to play Bowen, mate. Bowen's got to switch it up and do something a little bit different because it's not working for him anymore. And people have sussed it a little bit, mate. So, another pretty average, below average, really, performance from Bowen last night. But again, I feel a little bit almost sorry for him, mate, that he keeps getting given the same instructions, being told to play in the same way. And clearly, it's not right. Clearly, it's not working.
Yesterday was a game, mate, to play Antonio. If you want to experiment him up front, the Scamacca or drop Bowen for Antonio at home. That was kind of the game, wasn't it, mate? Try it with that.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised that Antonio didn't feature more. We've got that little scenario again where Antonio was the favourite, and now all of a sudden he's not and struggling to get a look in. There's a few comments about Scamacca and being temperamental. I actually like him being a bit temperamental. There was one challenge where he left something right on the player, and I was like, yes, that's what we need. He's going to be worried. Next time the ball's coming up in the air towards him, he's going to be looking over his shoulder thinking, is he coming again? I don't fancy a bit of that. Sometimes that's how you got to play. I want a bit of bite and I want a bit of, something a bit different. And Scamacca gives it. I love all of that. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying he's going to down tools like Haller did. I'm not saying any of that. But what you can tell is he's getting incredibly frustrated and it's affecting how he plays. He isn't the same player those first couple of games that we had him. He is getting a bit wound up. He don't want to drop as deep. He just wants chances. He wants to be given the ball. You got to remember, last year he was playing with Raspadori, who is like world class himself, who meant there was a player in and around him all the time, creating chances, running off of him for passes. Scamacca can pick a pass as well, but there's no one ever to pass to, mate. At the moment, Scamacca's used to playing with a really good world-class player around him, and at the moment I think he's looking around thinking, what have I got around me here? It's just not good enough. And while he won't down tools, what he will do is his ego will be big enough for him to turn around and say, this really ain't for me, like I don't want to be here no more. And while he won't down tools, he will piss off, mate. He just will.
I think like one of those things what you liked is I loved the I think the 50-50 challenge Downs done in the first half, got the crowd going, and that was about it.
What's good challenge that was? Good challenge from Downs.
Yeah, that's what West Ham fans want. Well, what's the thinking behind playing all three of them? Rice, Souček, Downsy, and then Downsy's on the wing most of the time. What the fuck is all that about?
I mean, Downs just is an out and out CDM, mate. I mean, he just where he's playing at the moment, I don't quite understand. We all called for him to play, but we didn't call for him to play where he's being played. But then
someone called me out in the WhatsApp group, and I love all the boys I'm in the groups with, so with respect I'm saying this, is that one of them said that they're not CDMs, they're box-to-box players, and I didn't want to argue because of my mind.
Downs ain't a box-to-box player, mate. He's just not.
Do you know something?
You can argue that Rice is. Rice wants to be box-to-box, but I'm not sure Rice will ever be a box-to-box midfielder. I think Rice is one of the world's best at being, and that's a massive statement, but I think he reads a game as a CDM better than anyone I've seen. I think he is superb. So I put Downs and Rice both as out-and-out CDMs. I don't see him as box-to-box midfielders. I don't.
Another thing I want to change my mind about is the beginning of the season I said that it was going to be a very competitive Premier League. Everyone's got a lot of money. When I look at the table now and I look at the bottom 10, mate, there's nothing there.
Mate, we lose to Liverpool, right? And everyone is like, well, it's Liverpool, but Nottingham Forest didn't have that attitude. Nottingham Forest went there and said, we are going to be organised. We are going to be difficult to break down. We can't play attacking football because we'll come unstuck. But every time they got the ball, they bombed forward, mate. They chucked men forward. They tried to create chances, and eventually they got their reward. We just are petrified of anyone that's a top six side. We're just petrified of them and just accept that this is going to be a loss. So, but you have to accept it's going to be a loss because Moyes can't beat top six sides away from home. So, that is what it is. Just all round, mate, I don't know. For me,
well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this, but when I look at the table, we can still grab 7th or 8th. But that's slightly doing worse than a couple of seasons ago. Conference, could we win it? Got Blackburn in the cup coming up. FA Cup draw hasn't been done yet, so we'll see where we go with this. But at the moment, it's mentally quite frustrating for me where we're going with this. And yeah, I just slightly don't even look forward to some of the games sometimes, thinking, are we going to set up and things like that, mate. Yeah, the formations. How's he going to blend the new players in with the old and the new? Have you heard anything on the Ashby situation? Does he play in the under-23s? Has he completely that it's gone that badly that he's not allowed to play and then he'll just go, mate?
You have to, at the end, I've taken a similar stance as probably Moyes has, mate, in that if you don't want to be here, I haven't got any interest in you. I've got no interest in whether he's playing in the under-23s. I've got no interest if what he's doing with himself. If he don't want to be at West Ham United, we should have just let him go, mate. Just off your pot, mate.
Okay, that is like astonishing, isn't it? They're like players just, I don't know what you think day to day. Wow, that is kind of, and if he signs for Newcastle, whoopee days for him, mate. I mean,
Newcastle looking good, mate, aren't they? Did you know that's all you want is a bit of that style of football, mate. You just want a little bit of something, anything. Like I say, any other football game I watch, I enjoy it far more than I watch West Ham. And people are going to dig me out of that for again. Well, why don't you go and support one of them then? No, I'm a West Ham fan. I will always be a West Ham fan. You know, nothing's going to change. Just because I don't go to the games no more won't mean that I'm not a West Ham fan anymore. I will always, I bleed claret and blue, mate. But the point is, you know, just when I watch any other to Maidstone United, mate, I enjoy it more. If I go to Ebbsfleet, I enjoy it more. If I go to Charlton, I enjoy it more. If I, you know, at Boxing Day now, our club want to put the game on 8 o'clock. Well, they probably don't. It's probably Sky that's driven it. But our club have accepted an 8 o'clock match on a Boxing Day. I'm just going to go Charlton, mate. Just go down there, take the boy, because you can actually watch it at that time of day, and we'll enjoy the day out. Like mate, there's something traditional that I've always done, that on a Boxing Day, you get the family and you all go to football because you sat indoors all Christmas Day. You're bored out your brain. You have too much to drink. You have too much to eat. You wake up in the morning. I can't wait to walk out that door and go and watch West Ham. That is what Boxing Day is all about for me. And I was looking forward to it. I've already sorted my tickets out. I'm ready to go. And then they make it 8 o'clock at night. I just, why? It's just madness, mate.
Yeah, it is. It is, like you said, we hardly get a home game around that time. The game that everyone's been crying out for since, well, what I was used to watching as a kid was Boxing Day home to Spurs. We haven't had that fixture, which is we know now it's all fixed anyway, mate. You know, so we're gonna be something like away to Brighton that day in past years and non-festive. You know, even we played Southampton away on Boxing Day a couple of times. I mean, what the hell's going on? You know, with the London derby. And the things like that, really. So it looks like something in the chat. Yeah, a few people more frustrated. Moyes, yeah. What is? Listen, like I said, Johnson. I'm not going to say anything. Give him 6 games at right back, and then we'll judge. Ben Rama, similarly, give him a run, and then we'll judge. But I don't want the fans sort of really going up in the air one game, then going down, having a go at him, and being easily pleased. When if we didn't score that penalty, mate, then I bet you half of them wouldn't have said nothing about him, you know. But he hopefully there's something in him to be a permanent fixture in our team. But again, being extra critical, I want him to be regular, but I want him to do something good in the big games, the top 6, top 7. I mean, Bournemouth you can only play what you got in front of you. I get that. But I like for him to cement his place. And it's not always his fault. I get that. Moyes is up and down with him. But, yeah, I just want him to play regularly and show a bit more. But for me, apart from the penalty, I didn't see anything he did. He didn't set anyone up. He kept missing chances to set people up, crosses and things. And Skamaka, don't even think he got able to have a shot on goal, did he, Frank? I don't know. I don't think so.
Didn't see much. Benny had, like we said, 8 shots, 1 on target. Some people said, well, some of them because they got blocked, blah, blah, blah. Mate, Benny was just shooting from here, there and everywhere. And at times I was saying to myself, don't shoot.
Oh yeah,
Whatever you do,
was.
don't shoot. And he shoots and blazes it over the bar. You're just like, what have you done that for? Until the penalty, mate, they were right on top of us, and I was sitting there worried because it looked like they were going to nick a goal, and I was very concerned. But mate, I know what you're saying. We all want to, you know, and play against the big teams better and everything else. I wouldn't mind so much. There's only 5 big teams. Like, there's a lot of other teams. If we were playing brilliant against Bournemouth and playing, you know, really good football, and it was entertaining, and you're sitting there excited, I don't care what anyone says, and I firmly believe this. That season that we had, the good season where we had Payet and we had Alex Song and we had all that, that season under Bilic was far more exciting football than what we've seen in the last couple of years from David Moyes. David Moyes may have like got us a little bit further in European competition, everything else, but mate, those days when Payet had that bit of magic, you was just, mate, it was brilliant. There was a buzz. There was something just about those Payet years that just, mate, it was just so exciting. We went to Old Trafford and you knew we was going to beat them, and they had that poxy goal that was offside in the cup and should have been disallowed. And Payet scored that brilliant free kick. Mate, we were brilliant. And that was quality football, and I loved every second of that, you know, that season and that period for West Ham. That last game at Upton Park was just buzzing. We've got Payet blistering out everywhere. When we beat Palace with those little chip goals from Lanzini, and Payet was on fire. And mate, what an exciting time. We just haven't got that anymore. We're just, you know, we've ridden the last couple of seasons on hard work, determination, and that is what we always say is the minimum we expect from West Ham, and that was fine. But enough's enough. Like, we had those couple of seasons, that was great, but I need to see more now, mate. I've got to see more, because now we're not getting the same sort of results as we were back then, and the results have fallen away since, you know, December last year. It's just not fun anymore, mate.
Well, listen, I remember, right, I was in Cyprus when Bilic, with that young kid, outmaneuvered them. We beat them 2-0 away. I've gone back to my phone. The kids are still in the swimming pool. I picked up my phone and I'm like, oh my God, we beaten Arsenal away. I think it was a Saturday or Sunday kickoff. That was like, what the? And then all over the next day, Bilic tactics masterclass. We found the next Rio Ferdinand. Then obviously Anfield, I was there. We whooped them 3-0. I thought we were going to win the FA Cup. I remember the Everton comeback 3-2, Frankie, when at Goodison Park, Payet, when they obviously injured him deliberately in the other game and he got one back over them. Amazing. And that's what I live for. That's, you know, it is. But like I said, we respect everyone's opinions, but we're just saying we don't agree with it. But what fans shouldn't do on Twitter and one or two on, don't swear at anyone or take anything personally.
No.
And you know, so yeah.
Hey, I've been dug out a little bit earlier in the chat. Josiah's entitled to his opinion. I know. But what I'm trying to get is, I don't care who it was who says those things. I can take all of that. It's not a problem. But some people can't take all of that, mate. And some people can't. You know, we have got to stop this whole, you know, it's my way or the highway. What happened to be able to have a beer with your mates in a pub and just have... I
don't agree, and we'll call it quits. I don't agree.
Yeah. Even if you don't agree, you can turn around and say, you know, well, I think this and I think that, and you go, fair enough.
Oh, yeah. But when people start saying the 4-letter words, the 5-letter words,
it's madness, mate. I don't.
You're going down the alleyway, then I'm not interested.
But all I ask for people on social media and people on YouTube channels, and do you know what? Also, the people who run the YouTube channels, because a lot of people who run YouTube channels who don't go. There are some ones where they do go, and there are some ones where they don't go. The ones where you don't go, all I want you to do is look at it through the eyes of somebody who pays out thousands upon tens of thousands of pounds of following their team every single game, the commitment, you know, the traveling, they're getting home. Some people get home 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, have work at 6, 7 o'clock. You know, that's a massive commitment of time and energy and financial commitment. They are entitled to have a slightly more over-emotional, critical feeling to the way that certain matches are, and they are absolutely entitled to it. You know, I go to a lot of games. There are people who go to a lot more games than me. Dom's one of them. You know, Dom gets a lot of stick. Dom is there, whether it be Viborg in Denmark, whether it be whatever.
It's his life. It's his life. Yeah,
It's his life. He is there. He is absolutely entitled to come out and get on a fan cam when there's been a bad performance and say that was an absolute shower of shit and that is not acceptable, because his commitment to go and watch those multi-millionaires that are paid an absolute fortune, he is entitled to say, I spend every penny I have on following West Ham wherever we go, and that was not good enough, and that it hasn't returned my commitment to you by following you everywhere I go. You do have to take that into consideration. Though these people who travel the length and breadth of the country to watch West Ham, they do have a slightly more emotional reaction to certain things, and you know that you have to accept that. That is how it is, mate. But,
I've rarely disagree with Dom. His analysis for me is spot on. He don't miss a bloody thing. And if West Ham are not playing, he'll go and watch a non-league game. He's a nut.
Yeah.
He's a nutter. But
no, he is. He is, mate. He is.
I mean, obviously we went. Yeah, we went. Well, I didn't have him in mind, but there's one or two others. But it's like you said. It is interesting to get different views and things like that.
But in the old days, mate, we've had some bad teams. Let's be honest, we've had a lot worse teams and we played a lot worse football than we're playing now. That's true. But because I loved Upton Park and because I loved everything else about West Ham, it didn't matter so much. But now I don't enjoy the experience as much. I'm feeling it more. And I'm feeling that when you're just sitting down with no atmosphere, sitting in silence, letting Fulham fans out sing you and whatever else, you do feel like, what am I doing here? Mate, the only way I enjoy football now is if I go in the King Edward or wherever we go and we have a good few beers and we meet a few of the old lads and then we go to the game. I might watch the first half and then I go and stand at the bar, catch up with all the old faces, have a good few beers, end up far too drunk. And that's I can't just go and have a couple of beers or take my boy and enjoy it. I do enjoy it for his sake, you know, when he wants to go, taking him over there. But the night games and so on where he can't go, I struggle to just enjoy the whole experience of it all unless I'm getting absolutely obliterated on the old booze and having a good catch up with everyone else. It's Mandy Baz is working very, very hard and is doing extremely well with his business at the moment and is making a very good living for himself. So he's given a lot to other people and other causes over the last sort of couple of years, and now he's taking a bit of time for himself and to focus on him and his life. So I'm really pleased to see him doing as well as he is, and to be really becoming very successful. So if I'm sure he'll be back one day, but at the moment he's doing his own thing. But mate, again, you know, I'm looking forward to Thursday night. I couldn't be bothered to go over there Monday night because getting in late and, you know, the cost for the travel, couldn't be bothered. But Thursday night, we've got 14 of us. We're all sitting together. You know, we've got the private bar and whatever else, and we're going to have a right good crack, good few beers, good catch up with a few faces, meet a few people from the channel, and it'll be a blooming good night out, mate. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, what's your thoughts on Emery? Villa manager.
How are you, mate? A brilliant appointment. Emery is a very exciting tactical manager. He'll work out well for them, mate. I think that you'll see a big change in the way they play football very, very quickly. He's a passionate man, a very animated man. I think you'll see Villa. They've got the foundation. I think Villa have got some really good players.
They've got money, mate.
And they've got money to back him. So, I think it's a very, very, very astute. Out of nowhere, I saw the managers they were connected with, and he weren't one of them. And then out of just the blue, I was watching the match, and they went, "Oh, breaking news! They've got Emery." I thought, "Wow, that is a absolute fantastic appointment."
Yeah, I did speak about him in one of my videos, but I thought his contract was up in the summer, but they've done something to get him out really early.
Yeah,
and Gerrard, did lots of things wrong. But what tells me more than anything is when they win 4-0 after he's gone. So they didn't like him, mate. It's a bit of a.
No, it shows you, don't it? Doesn't it show you? It just shows you that they weren't playing for him, mate. As simple as that.
I heard maybe he's a bit stuck up, a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't. I don't know. But yeah, ex-players love him, but yeah, Rangers don't want him anywhere near their club. They hate him. the way. But that's a bit like Brendan and Celtic as well, mate. But yeah, Scott, I hope you're doing well, mate. But when you look at the last results, mate, yeah, look, they're not bad, you know that. And I'm like, yeah, all right, beat Bournemouth, lost to Liverpool, drawn Southampton, beat Anderlecht, beat Fulham, beat Anderlecht, yeah, beat Wolves, lost to Everton, and then the fixtures coming up, we've got what have we got? Yeah, we got Silkeborg, United away, FCSB, Palace at home, Blackburn at home in the cup, Leicester. So yeah, still the fixtures are coming through. Okay. United away is tricky. I like their manager. He's obviously, we know what he's about. He's putting his personality on the team. Again, they're interchanging quite quick. Man United, they just need someone up front, I think, to fit the jigsaw now. I think they're getting there, and I think Ronaldo will probably be on his way out and things like that. But it is what it is, mate. I'm not surprised, mate. They spend big, mate. Their bench, mate, used to be like Bailey, 30 million. Bounier was 35 on the bench. They don't give a shit. They spend a lot, mate. You know, and Watkins, we know, is half decent, and he didn't. No one played, mate, under Gerrard. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it is what it is, mate. I can't see where we're going this season in terms of, we could finish 7th playing like this and stop. Yeah, that's fine if that's going to happen. But I'm mentally, I'm a bit all over the place with West Ham at the moment. But we're trotting along like a train going sideways, and I don't know where we're going, Frankie. Having a quick look at the table, I thought that 8th could be achievable above Fulham and maybe one or two other teams. So when you look at the bottom 10, looks like squad-wise we're not too bad compared to them. Obviously, financial fair play. I'm not sure how much money we're gonna have in the winter. Is Dawson gonna go? Agar, let's see what type of player he's going to be like. We need investment in fullbacks, especially Kresi's replacement. Ashby probably be going. Antonio, mate, just before we close off, looks like he doesn't really bother, mate. Antonio, he's just laughing, giggling away, finds everything funny on the training ground. Don't see anything from him now, do you, really, Antonio?
The problem is, again, mate, is the man management. He was Moyes' golden child for so long. First name on the team sheet, whatever. All of a sudden, he can't get a look in, and he gets brought on with 5 minutes to go, which is just absolutely ridiculous. A manager needs to put your arm around players like that and say, look, Scamacca's come in, our record signing. This is how we're going to use him, but this is what we expect from you. This is how we're going to use you as the part of the squad. We want you to play this role. We want you to play that role. He looks like a player who's just been forgotten about at the moment. He looks like a player who has no clear direction, no clear instruction of what the squad and what the manager expects from him.
That's all of them, Frankie. All the new people are like that. They don't know what they're doing, mate. I don't know what's going on, and we're playing 2-3 players out of form. The new ones don't know what they're doing, and somehow let's see where we end up. But we're bobbling along, kind of all over the place, sideways, upwards, and it is weird, isn't it, mate? It's weird.
It is weird, mate.
I don't know where it's going to crash. I don't know where we're going to crash land, mate, and what's going to happen at the end of the season. You never know, mate. But at the moment where I stand, probably alongside you.
Well, the point is, mate, is what's round the corner, and this is absolutely where we're going to be. We know exactly where we're going to land. We're going to land mid-table. That's where we're going to be. We're then going to have no European football anymore, and you're going to have to go and watch that brand of football every now and then, nicking a win and stealing a win, not beating the big sides away from home. It's very, you can write it. It's very clear what's going to happen. But we're going to be back to the old days of just that mid-table is the best we're ever going to do. We won't win anything because Moyes ain't got the ability to win anything. And we'll be out of Europe. And it will just be those boring, mundane old seasons that we used to have as West Ham United fans. And then what happens is we leave it too long. It gets stale. Then we get ourselves into a relegation dogfight because we had no clear foresight or vision or, progression. And we start going backwards. And then at that point in time, it's whether they keep the manager, sack the manager, and whether we get relegated or stay in the Premier League. That's what's just around the corner for us, mate. And
again, I have to be honest, as we always are. Moisey, since he's come in, he's always played his strongest team in all the cups. I've got to hand that to him.
Yeah.
Sam didn't do that.
However, we had Arsenal at the Emirates in a quarter-final of the Cup when he first came, and we threw that game. In fact, both teams threw that game. Both teams done their best to lose that game. David Moyes, while he has this reputation of playing the best teams in the Cups and so on, I ain't so sure.
The other thing, just to close off and give him a bit more brownie points, I thought, after killing him old show, is that sometimes history-wise, when you look at the teams that won the FA Cup in particular, we're kind of finding our ground. And if somehow the jigsaw puzzle fits around shortly after the World Cup ends, when the FA Cup starts and we get into the latter stages of the League Cup, and that might be something that might happen, that we click in and go on a cup run, because the cups are just warming up at the moment, and that's the other thing I'm thinking of. It could happen sometimes when you start too well, like in the billet season. We started too well, then we peaked too early, and then we kind of, we fell off the rails and Pai got injured, and he came back. Then we got on again, got on it again, and then I thought we were going to win the cup that year, but Kyoto equalised. I remember me jumping up in the front room, and he knocked the light off, and it didn't count. And so you never know. Let's see where it's happening.
Well, there are some fans who have told me in recent times who firmly believe that Moyes will really go for the trophies this year, and they fully expect us to go close, mate. I hope, and I really do hope as a West Ham fan, that is what is on the cards for us this season. If we can get to a big semi-final final, mate, I'm looking forward to that. That would be brilliant, but I can't see it.
I can see it and I cannot. So I can see what people are saying, because when you look at that squad, there's a lot of quality in there. And if they all get back fit, Agard hits the ground running, we have got the people there to do well in cups on the day. We used to always be able to beat anyone on the day. I can see it, but I don't want anyone, if we do that and say, oh, you two are negative, we are saying where we stand at the moment, right? And we're not wishing bad on the club or anything like that. We're West Ham, but we are saying how we're feeling at the moment. So I know West Ham fans, some of them are, we told you, I don't know what's going to happen next month. Up to now, I'm all over the place at the moment, but at the same time, I can see maybe something in the cups if we able to somehow work out a way of playing the way we should be playing under the manager. But he was right. The board have given him a lot of players to play with, and let's see what we do with that. And I've got one more comment from Mandy before we call it quits. Yeah, there's a lot of good players out there that we need to get a bit more out of, get a bit more out of them and that kind of thing. I think if you were an alien and I said Paqueta's 53 million, you wouldn't believe me up to now. But we're hoping he's got it there, and they all had it last year. They're probably going to have it in the World Cup, and then if we don't see it at our own club, then you know where the fault lies with that, mate. So for me, at the moment where we stand, I don't know where we're going, but I'm not happy with the quality of the football. And whatever David Moyes is trying to do, I ain't understanding none of it, right? And we should just take it game at a time and play a fairly settled team if we can, really, and then judge afterwards, isn't it? Frankie, final thoughts, mate, before we close it, mate?
Final thoughts is just, as usual, mate, I hope that everything I've said tonight, I'm wrong. I hope it all turns around. I hope we go on a good run. I hope we find a good way of playing football. The reason I don't feel like we can win the cup is because I don't feel like we can beat teams. I feel like we stumble over the line at times. I think to win a cup, I think you have to be able to turn up and win football matches. I don't think we're that team this year. I feel like we had that more in us last year than we do this year. So I'm not sure, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope we have a massive decently good cup run. I hope for once we actually get good draws, because we always get terrible draws. We always draw Man United away, Man City away. We're always away from home. Let's hope we can get some good draws in the cups. All I've ever wanted, mate, as a West Ham fan, is to win something in my lifetime. I've said it time and time again. I just want to win something. If David Moyes can win us something, I hope they build a massive statue of him in the middle of that London stadium. I'd have David Moyes' face tattooed on my arm, and I will worship him as the Moyes sire for forever, because at the end of the day, that's all I've ever asked for. So I hope that is the truth. I hope that is what transpires, and we can make this season come a good one. I hope I'm absolutely proved wrong in everything I said tonight, mate, and that's it.
Yeah. We'll see where we end up. At the moment, we're not sure where we are. So thank you, everyone, for viewing.
See you on Thursday night, mate. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to get over there. So it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. Take care. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a great evening, Frankie. Take care.
See you later on, mate.